On Thursday, March 17th, the Idaho Department of Land's budget bill, House Bill 755, was approved by the Idaho Senate on a near-unanimous vote. This approval means that the department is just one signature away from securing vital funding for the next fiscal year to continue modernizing the IDL fire management program. IDL's fiscal year 2023 budget includes adding 10 new .83 FTE engine boss positions to the ranks, funding the transition from paper record keeping to an efficient electronic fire business system, standing up a new North Idaho booster crew, hiring 2 new fire management officers, and permanently funding an increased starting pay for seasonal firefighters of $15 per hour.
Madam President.
Senator Vick.
Thank you, Madam President. As probably some of you know, I have a tendency to vote against big budget increases, but this is one that I'm going to support. We had an extraordinary fire year last year, and the Department of Lands did an extraordinary job of containing those fires, but they still have some real shortfalls in their crews and trying to hire crews. And if you've ever, and I know they have fires here in the south in the grasslands, and I'm not dismissing those in any way, but if you've ever been near a forest fire on a hot, dry summer day, it's a frightening thing. And I really appreciate what they did, and I know some of the fires a little bit south of me got larger, but up in our area they just did an outstanding job, and I received nothing but compliments from people who lived in those areas. And so even though this is an extremely large increase today, I will be supporting it. Thank you.
Madam President.
Senator Stinnett.
Thank you, Madam President. I agree with the good senator. It has been 3 in my backyard and twice to almost take my house out. It is frightening. The more important piece of this is, you probably do know, but I've talked a lot with the Department of Lands, and their firefighter portion of the department is extraordinary. It's extraordinarily well trained. It's renowned across the nation as to how well they do their work. They go in-state but out of state too, and their problem is they train these amazing people who do remarkable work, recognized everywhere for the amount of training they have, and then they can't keep them because can't stay all year if they're not funding them, and they have to keep them. In order to keep them in the department, they have to make sure that they can afford to stay in the department. So we don't want to keep retraining some really, really excellent people who put their lives on the line. And so this is an effort for them to be able to stay as a really snapping and all-cylinder part of the Department of Lands. Thank you.
Madam President.
Senator Blair.
Thank you, Madam President. Last year, I was in between 2 fires, 2 different canyons, and if it wasn't for the resources, it would have burned up a lot more land, houses, and probably have gone to some towns. The job they do is extraordinary, but there are limitations. And when you have multiple fires like we did this year, resources get stretched thin. They are trying to serve us, serve the people, and protect our land, but while having a disadvantage of those resources. So I stand in favor of this legislation. Thank you.
Madam President.
Senator Sousa.
Thank you, Madam President. I don't typically stand to speak to appropriation bills, but in this case, I've been amazed and impressed with the Department of Lands and the firefighters, wildland firefighters that go out in high-risk situations and put themselves out there for us. Up in North Idaho, we have a lot of timberland, but we also have the Good Neighbor Authority that is on federal lands for the state to manage that. And if you've ever seen the pictures of the state-managed Good Neighbor Authority lands next to the federal lands that have not been managed by the state, you can see why we have such a a high level of fire problem, because the undergrowth is allowed to gather on the federal lands that are not managed. So these firefighters, in creating a better situation on the Good Neighbor Authority lands, They actually keep our private and state lands safer. And when those really hot fires get into the crown of the trees, they can just take off and spread very rapidly. So I think that this funding will make all kinds of sense if we can prevent some of the massive forest fires that we have seen in the north and in other parts of the state as well. Protecting our resources, protecting our firefighters, and protecting the people that live around it. So I will definitely support this. Thank you.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall House Bill number 755 pass the Senate? The Secretary will call the roll.
Eigenbrod, Anthem, Bayer, Blair, Burgoyne, Burtonshaw, Cook, Crabtree, Den Hartog, Groh, Guthrie, Harris, Hyder, Lakey, Lee, Lind, Lodge, Martin, Nelson, Nye, Patrick, Rice, Ricks, Briggs, Semmelroth, Souza, Stennett, Thane, Van Orden, Vick, Ward Engelking, Winder, Wintrow, Woodward, Zito, Lakey, Lee,
Roll call shows 32 ayes, 1 nay, 2 absent and excused, a majority having voted in the affirmative. House Bill number 755 has passed the Senate. Is there a correction to the title? Hearing none, the title is also approved, and House Bill number 755 will be returned to the House of Representatives.